Good morning, children. Today we will discuss about nutrition in plants. It is the first chapter in your science subject. So let's look into the contents. In contents we have introduction, mode of nutrition in plants, photosynthesis, other modes of nutrition in plants, saprotrophs, how nutrients are replenished in the soil. Okay. Next, first, we will look into what are nutrients. Nutrients are components of food. Okay, nutrients are components of food. What are these components? They are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. These components are used in the body to produce energy. These are absorbed and energy is produced, and we all know that energy is needed to do work. All living organisms require food to survive. That is very basic. Plants can make their own food, but animals, including humans, cannot make their own food. Even though food is required by all living organisms, only plants have the capacity to produce their own food. Hence, all animals, directly or indirectly, depend on plants for food. Mode of nutrition in plants. First, we will see what is nutrition. Nutrition is mode through which organisms take in food and utilize it. The way we take in food and utilize it is called as nutrition. The mode of nutrition in which organisms make food by themselves from simple substances is called autotrophic nutrition. Auto means self, trophs means nourishment. Self nourishment means plants produce their own food for their nourishment. Hence, plants are called as autotrophs. Animals and most other organisms take in food prepared by plants, therefore, they are called as heterotrophs, means other. Okay. Photosynthesis, food process in plants. Photo means light. Okay. Utilization of light energy to produce food is called photosynthesis. In plants, synthesis of food occurs in the presence of sunlight. Hence, the process is called photosynthesis. Water and minerals are absorbed by the roots and are transported to the leaves through the vessels which run like pipes throughout the plant. Carbon dioxide from air is taken in through the tiny pores present on the surface of leaves. These are called stomata, and these are surrounded by guard cells. See here in picture, there is a tiny opening in the center through which carbon dioxide is taken into the leaf. Okay, and guard cells are surrounding that pores. Okay. Also, leaves have a green pigment called chlorophyll. It helps leaves to capture energy of sunlight. So what happens in photosynthesis? During photosynthesis, chlorophyll containing cells of leaves in the presence of sunlight use carbon dioxide and water to synthesize carbohydrates, and during this process oxygen is released. Carbohydrates are nothing but basic food energy. Okay, energy giving food. Okay, and during this process oxygen is also released. We all know that oxygen is required for our body for respiration, and this process can be represented in an equation. Carbon dioxide plus water plus light energy means sunlight gives glucose plus oxygen. Glucose is carbohydrate. See in the picture you can see that water and minerals are absorbed by the soil and transported to leaf, and in the presence of sunlight and green chlorophyll taking in carbon dioxide, glucose and oxygen is produced. Besides leaves, photosynthesis also takes place in other green parts of plant like green stems and green branches. The chlorophyll itself is green pigment. Wherever it is present, there will be a green color. And in the presence of chlorophyll, photosynthesis will take place. The leaves other than green also have chlorophyll. Okay, some leaves are brown in color or red in color. They also have chlorophyll. But the large amount of red, brown and other pigments mask the green color. Photosynthesis take place in these leaves also. Other than green plants, organisms called algae also have chlorophyll, and they can also prepare their own food by photosynthesis. Not only plants but some organisms called algae are also capable of producing their own food with chlorophyll. Okay. Synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrates. I said carbohydrates are basic energy giving food. Now, what are the other components? Carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are used to synthesize other components of food, such as proteins and fats. But proteins are nitrogenous substances which contain nitrogen. Plants absorb nitrogen directly from plants cannot absorb nitrogen directly from air. Soil has certain bacteria that convert gaseous nitrogen into a usable form and release it into the soil. These are absorbed by the plants along with water. Okay, even though air has nitrogen, that is nitrogen in the gaseous form, plants cannot directly absorb them. Okay, so there are some bacteria in the soil which convert gaseous nitrogen into usable form. This is one thing. Another thing is farmers, when they are growing their own crops, they also add fertilizers rich in nitrogen so that there is direct availability of nitrogen for in the soil. Other modes of nutrition in plants. What are other modes of nutrition in plants? Okay, there are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. Like humans and animals, such plants depend on the food produced by other plants. They use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. All plants, most of the plants have chlorophyll, but there are some plants also which do not have chlorophyll. Generally they are not green in color. Okay, there are some other colors. Such plants, okay, they also depend on other plants for their food. They are called as heterotrophic plants. For example, the plant called cascata do not have chlorophyll. It takes ready-made food from the plant on which it climbs. The plant on which it climbs is called the host and the cascata is called the parasite. See, in the first picture you can see a canvas of yellow weed like things. Okay, they absorb food from the plant on which it is growing. They do not produce their own food. Okay, hence it is called as parasite, and the plant on which it is surviving is called host. There is one more picture, one more image of pitcher plant. Pitcher means it's kind of a jar. Pitcher, it's kind of a jar. Okay, because of that shape, that modified leaf shape, it is called pitcher plant. It is called as insectivorous plant because it traps insect and kill it by the juices secreted in the modified pitcher like leaves, and its nutrients are absorbed. Next, saprotrophs. The mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients from dead and decaying matter is called saprotrophic nutrition. Okay, here whichever is decaying, on that some organisms grow, right? Those are called as saprotrophs. Such organisms with saprotrophic mode of nutrition are called saprotrophs. For example, mushroom, these are fungi. Fungi also grow on pickle, leather, clothes, and other articles that are left in hot and humid weather for long time. Some organisms live together and share both shelter and nutrients. Such relationship is called symbiosis. For an example, lichens, chlorophyll containing partner, which is an alga, and a fungus live together. The fungus provides shelter, water, and mineral to the alga, and in return, the alga prepares and provides food to the fungus. Now, how these nutrients are replenished in the soil? Plants absorb mineral and nutrients from the soil, so their amount in the soil keep on declining. Fertilizers and manure contain nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. These nutrients are needed to be added to soil to enrich it. Okay, also the bacterium called rhizobium can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into the usable form in the roots of leguminous plants. This shows symbiotic relationship. So what all we learned in this chapter? We learned that most of the plants are autotrophs, it is self-nourishing. Only few plants are parasitic or saprotrophic, okay, like insectivorous plants. They derive nutrition from other organisms. All animals are categorized as heterotrophs. No animal can produce their own food. We all depend on plants. Since they depend on plants and other animals for food. Okay, thank you.